Crypto millionaires from all over the world are buying passports. Recently, I saw this video recommended on YouTube on how this YouTuber, Lark Davis, a crypto influencer, bought Grenadian citizenship for himself and his whole family. It's interesting to see because this particular YouTuber is a New Zealand citizenship. And usually we talk to Americans, we talk to people that really need a second passport. A New Zealand citizen doesn't necessarily need a second passport. But now more than ever, millionaires are realizing I need to belong to one more country, one more union of countries. I need to have the ultimate plan B, which, as I've said many times on this channel, is to get yourself a second passport or multiple passports. I've gotten 3 second passports or 4 passports, and then I renounced my US citizenship, so I know what I'm talking about. I've helped hundreds of people get a second passport. This particular influencer got it for many reasons. He got Grenadian citizenship because 1, they have access to Russia, visa-free, and his wife is Russian. His wife's family lives in Russia, so they have that access to Russia. And that is why I talk about these passports and their interesting access to other parts of the world, like Russia, China. Maybe you don't want to go to Russia, maybe you don't want to go to China, but it's good to have that access. Just like with a Serbian passport, for example, you have access to both the Schengen area, Russia and China, some parts of Asia, and Latin America. You have that access just in case. He also said that he doesn't want his children to die in a banker's war, which is what I've told you many times on this channel, that you need to prepare for a world war, for a draft. Many people all over the world are thinking, I'm a man, or I'm going to have children that are going to be men, and potentially there's going to be a World War III, there's going to be some chaos around the world where I need to have an ultimate plan B. And moving to another country isn't necessarily the best plan of action because your original government country can always cancel your passport, can always prevent you from renewing your passport. Just like Canada, when they closed bank accounts of people that protested against the government, just like the UK, who is imprisoning people who criticize the government and their agenda, they can do anything they want because you're their citizen. And if you check your passport, it literally says it belongs to the government. It belongs either to the State Department or to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or it belongs to the head of government. It doesn't belong to you. Your citizenship and your passport don't belong to you. The rights to live in a country, they don't belong to you. You have to look for other countries that, 1, they don't care about a draft. They're not going to draft you anywhere. They're not going to tax you all over the world. They're not going to impose some crazy restrictions. Overall, they just want your money. That's all. They want your money in exchange for their citizenship, in exchange for you to be able to use their passports. So we're seeing these millionaires who they're looking at this second option and they're thinking, I'm going to spend $150,000, now $200,000, $250,000. I spent $150,000 on St. Kitts and Nevis. Now it is $250,000, sometimes even $400,000. But if you have multi-millions in crypto, or you will potentially have that, because right now the prices are not as high as we're going to see them in a couple of months once the prices start hitting 80, 90, 100,000 per Bitcoin. It would be fun if when you're watching this, the price is already at 100,000 per Bitcoin, spending 2 to 3 Bitcoin on having the ultimate plan B for your life, for yourself, for your family, for banking later on. Let's say your government prevents you from opening a bank account. Let's say your government takes your assets away. You want to have that second nationality, which is the ultimate level of protection, so you can then go open bank accounts with that other nationality, so you can then buy real estate under that other nationality. And there's many different options. If you don't want to spend that money because you think, I don't want to lose 3 Bitcoin buying a passport, there's always citizenship by real estate investment, or at least residency by real estate investment. You can get a golden visa in many places around the world. You spend $250,000 all the way to $500,000, and you get a golden visa, a 5 to 10 year residency by investment program where you have access to live in another country that is not your home country. I always recommend having citizenship. That's why I talk a lot about Latin America, where you can give birth and get a second passport, where you can live a very short amount of time. In the case of Mexico, for example, a lot of people criticize me. Nobody's moving to Mexico. Mexico's too dangerous. Mexico's an S-hole. A lot of Americans, a lot of British people, a lot of people from all over the world are realizing my country's not as good as I thought it was. My country's heading in the wrong direction. My country wants to impose a draft. I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm going to invest in Mexico, get permanent residency, give birth, And then in 2 years, I'm going to pick up my Mexican passport, which gives me access to pretty much all the world, gives me access to live in this massive country, gives me faster access to other Latin American countries, and I'm going to have the ultimate option. Mexico is not going to chase you all over the world. Maybe society as a whole is getting more woke, it's getting more feminist. That's the direction of a lot of the world. And in the countries that are not woke and not feminist, like for example in the Gulf, you're not going to get citizenship there. You can get residency, for example, in the UAE. That's why I talk about the UAE a lot, because you can get residency. It's relatively straightforward. You can invest, get a 10-year permit, go whenever you want, or open up a business, get a 2-year permit, have a much lower tax rate. And also, these wars are funded by taxes. That's why I encourage you to legally look for countries where you pay less tax, because then you're not funding all of these wars. You're not funding all of this debt. For example, in the case of the United States, with 36 trillion in debt, you're funding that with your taxes and it's evaporating every minute. For you, $1 million might be quite a lot. For the government, it's just a minute of running the country without any financial discipline. What I would also encourage you to do, if you don't want to go the citizenship by investment route, or you're a little bit skeptical, I have clients, for example, from Canada that have gotten citizenship by descent in countries that you might not even think you can get citizenship by descent by looking into your family tree. I have a client from Canada who got Lithuanian citizenship, an EU passport, by looking into his family tree and then realizing, oh, I have multiple generations of people that come from Lithuania. They're far back removed, but he was able to get the documentation and then apply for that citizenship. You might have Romanian citizenship. You might have some sort of Asian citizenship that you're not even aware of. Or, for example, one of my clients who is from the US, he realized I have Filipino ancestry. So I can get a Filipino passport, and even though it's kind of worthless, you can go live in Spain for 2 years and then apply for Spanish citizenship. And now you have Filipino plus Spanish citizenship. Potentially you can apply for the Spanish Beckham law, making you eligible for a 5-year tax exemption on all your foreign earned income. And now you have 2 more passports, American, Filipino, and Spanish. In a course of 3 years, you can then live anywhere in the EU. Maybe you think the EU is going to some war. Well, now you can live in the Philippines, or you can get a residency permit somewhere in Asia, or you can renounce your US citizenship if the US gets too taxing, too many documents. Overall, you're trying to find as many options as possible. That's why I'm obsessed with getting more passports. That's why I talk about new citizenship programs. And that's why I encourage you to, no matter what reason, for this YouTuber, it was Russian access, bankers, wars, and overall having a plan B. Whatever your reason is, always try to get some other country you can be part of. And if you want to see all the countries around the world, including Turkey, Vanuatu, many more countries around the world that offer citizenship by investment, a new country you can call home, a new union of countries you can potentially call home, check out this video right here on the 15 countries all over the world that offer citizenship by investment. You're going to learn a lot. Check it out right here.